Yeah. Yes. 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 Can this thing pick me up? All right. Are we live? Jesus Christ alive. Thank God. Hello, everyone in the chat. All right. Let's start this off. This is Milky Penne Pasta, which is scaring the hell out of me. I would have done sausage, but that's me. Oh, what now? God damn it. Yeah, I'll probably start getting my Rumble presence known. Maybe do a few more things on Twitch. I don't know. I think it was just an isolated Kyle Kalinske fan. I just won't cover him for 90 days. I just love that YouTube, we have to make a safe space, so they fuck everything up for the creator for a week. Oh, we gotta make sure it's a safe space for everyone. Alright, not a fan of the jarred spaghetti sauce. Really make your own. I mean, okay, technically nothing wrong with it, but I don't know, jarred sauce is way too fucking sweet. You know, here's the thing. I get it, but Kick and Rumble, let's be honest, they do have a presence, but it's like the Rebel Alliance against the Galactic Empire. Alright, so this is kind of like, instead of heavy cream, they added evaporated milk. Now, I'm not saying anything horrible here. Again, except for the jarred or bagged sauce. Oh no, trust me, I know. Bigger creators can do whatever the fuck they want. I guarantee you Mr. Beast could pick on every son of a bitch on YouTube and they wouldn't do squat to him. Not that Mr. Beast is that kind of guy. He's not a commentary dude. But I guarantee you, if he was to be a commentary dude, he could do whatever in the hell he wanted, and YouTube wouldn't do shit. Yeah, I mean, but SS Sniper Wolf is... How many subscribers did you have? A couple million? I mean, Gordon Ramsay can... Well, people ask him to, but he can give pretty savage critiques on people's cooking. Nothing happens to him, but then again, he's got 12 million subscribers. Yeah, just Mr. Ooh, that pasta is way overcooked. That's the only mistake I've seen in the video. Yeah, it'd be kind of funny if Mr. Beast just started going down the list, making fun of everyone. Okay, I did not see enough salt and pepper. I didn't see really enough seasonings either. That's just for me. Just a little helpful tip. I would have added about a tablespoon of Italian herb blend, salt, pepper. And let me see here. Okay, she did add salt and pepper. I would have added more. And I would have tasted for seasoning. Not horrible, not the worst thing I've seen on here, but a little bit of room for improvement. Again, take, I would say, about 2 minutes off of your pasta cooking time. Because remember, if you want it medium, you should go to the al dente setting. Because remember, pasta continues to cook after you drain the water. Alright, we'll do this one. Alright, but let's move on to 5.
Here's how to start a boat quote. Just go to progressive.com/boat. Then get...
One of the older videos on YouTube. It's 13 years old. So this would have been made in 2011. So yeah. Just before everything went to shit on YouTube.
I'm Peter Reinhardt here in Boulder, Colorado at the 63rd Street Farm, where we just had the Fire Within conference with a whole bunch of people who own wood-fired ovens, mobile wood-fired ovens, including Scott Thorson, who has an operation in Sacramento, California. Scott's not wearing the red jacket that the rest of us wore because he was behind the scenes. He was kind of helping putting this on, and he worked real hard this week. But I know that you like to make pizza too, and you make a great pizza, so you're going to do something for us that I think is a little bit challenging. A 5-cheese pizza.
A 5
It's
cheese
white
pizza.
right?
It is a white pizza.
So we're not going to do it with red sauce. 5, and you're going to use a multigrain dough.
And we're using a multigrain dough.
Sweet. I've got these wonderful Belgioioso cheeses. We've got fresh mozzarella. We've got gorgonzola.
Crumbled gorgonzola.
Okay. We've got some fontina, which is a great melting
Great cheese that we've diced up.
Some aged grind.
I'd like to see Mr. Beast financially support Boogie if he actually could. And I guarantee you Boogie'd still be depressed about it.
Which is like a strong Parmesan, and then a real creamy fresh cheese called Crescenza, sometimes known as Stracchino.
Sure.
So I'm throwing those 5 at you. I want you to turn them into a pizza.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take this multi-grain crust right here. I'm not going to go with the red sauce. I like to do a little olive oil instead, just a little bit different kind of thing. We'll lay on some fresh mozz, just kind of break it up,
okay.
spread it around.
I guess you don't need a ton of it, huh?
Don't need a ton. It's all the cheeses are obviously all going to melt kind of in together to make a really nice combination of everything in throughout here.
Gorgonzola is strong, but I notice it's not creamy. It's kind of crumbly, so that it'll stay in place.
It's very
That's nice.
It might shake a little when we load the oven, but it'll stay in.
And then fontina
just
next.
breaking the fontina up a little bit with our fingers as it goes on, or you can shave it or slice it before you put it in.
Fontina is a kind of sort of a medium cheese. It's not real sharp, and it's not bland. It's got a little bit of character.
A little bit, and it's a great melter. It's a really good melting cheese.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's just one problem. You probably should, whatever you do, make sure you have a goddamn, like a mozzarella or something, because Gorgonzola melts at a completely different temperature than any of the cheeses you put on, dude.
And then we're just going to dollop this on a little bit like we would if we were using a... like a ricotta or a mascarpone or something like that.
Yeah, this is
You can't steal an idea.
a super fresh cheese, almost like cream cheese. And
Very soft.
I know that
If you could, there'd be only one son of a bitchin' family making macaroni and cheese.
ran into it in northern Italy in the Recco area. They have something called focaccia col formaggio di Recco. It's a famous thin pizza with almost a paper
That's why you can't copyright a recipe.
thin crust, and this is the only cheese they use.
Really?
And I'm telling you, it melts in your mouth, so I can't wait to see how it works in here.
We'll stick a little rosemary on at the end. That gives it, I love the flavor of rosemary with some of these cheeses. Just kind of sprinkle that on
Okay, so no
a little bit.
mozzarella
Great. No,
And then we'll load it up.
that's great. No, it gives a little green to it also.
Nice little
Nice.
contrast.
All right, let's see what it looks like going in. Sweet. Oh, you got that nice technique, unloading. So we've got this real hot oven. The ovens are made right here on the farm.
Yes.
And they're on wheels. Tell us about your rig. You've got one in Sacramento.
I do. I've got a larger trailer. It's got dual axles. I've had it for 2.5 years.
Yeah?
I believe it was the 4th oven that Joseph had built here. And I've just had a wonderful time with it over the years.
So you're growing a business.
Growing a business. So now that it's setting up, just gonna give it a little spin, try and caramelize some of the crust all the way around.
Now, if somebody
Get that
has
cheese to melt.
wants to do this at home,
Sure.
any problem?
No, it shouldn't be. At home, the biggest thing is get your oven as hot as you can. Use a good pizza stone in there.
Mm-hmm.
Get your stone in probably at least 45 minutes to an hour before, so it's really nice and hot.
Yeah.
And I know some people then like the heat of the stone and will even finish pizzas with a broiler maybe.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
To crank it up a little.
So it's going to take a little longer in a home oven, but it's
little
still
longer.
going to work. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you'll still make a nice, much better pizza than just throwing it in at 400.
And you and I worked on these doughs last night to
Yeah, we
make them.
did.
So this
You don't throw it in at 400. You throw it in at 500 or 550.
dough is about 25% whole grain. It's got a little whole wheat flour,
Yep.
rye, and
And it came together very nicely last night as we were mixing it.
some bread flour. And so it's a nice blend between sort of 100% whole grain and a white flour. It's in between.
In between
So
it.
you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. And there's a lot of
Exactly.
people that are
little
transitioning over
conscious
to
of
whole
that,
grain
exactly.
now. Yeah. You can put basil on if you want.
All right.
The cheese is bubbling away. Looks like
It
it's
is.
time to bring it out.
I'm gonna bring it out. I'm just gonna lift it up for just a
Must be
second.
super hot up there.
It's very hot up there.
Okay, wow.
And then
That's pretty.
Well,
bring it
looks
out.
delicious.
So we've got, again, some really nice char on the outside
Around
of
the
this
crust.
dough.
Yep.
And that green just showing through
Nice
to give it a little
contrast.
color contrast and
Yep.
flavor contrast. So
Not a fan of the multi-grain flour, but
what we've got here is a 5-cheese pizza
Yes.
from Scott Thorson, Sacramento, California. What's the name of your pizza company?
Bella Familia.
Bella Familia, on 4 wheels, coming to a town near you.
All right.
basically he made a white pizza. All right, let's do Sam the cooking guy. Big Mac Taco Quesadilla.
Taking the lead from a handful of TikTokers who have come before us, we're gonna make the Big Mac Taco Tortilla Folded Up Quesadilla thing. And by thing, I mean thing, because it's a hybrid. It's neither a taco, nor a quesadilla, nor a burrito, nor a proper Big Mac. You just take the components in a tortilla and then you fold the whole thing up and you give it a quick grill. We liked the idea. We thought we'd try it with one of the big tortillas that we like to use for our burritos. Bigger than store ones. It comes from a little taco shop right by us. Nico's right here in San Diego. We're all fans. They did remodel a few years ago and jacked the prices way up. And then they tried not to take credit cards and that did not work.
A restaurant not taking credit cards? I can understand checks. But credit cards, check cards, are you out of your fucking mind?
So they take them now. The key is getting the tortillas not cooked and not folded. It's a challenge. Trust me, everybody here has had to do it, and you get what you get. Anyway, let's make our sauce. Then we'll get our patty ready. We'll cook the patty, and once the patty's ready, then you fold it, you throw it back on the flat top and bring it back out again, and then you eat. You're happy. And you hope it's worth it. Because if it's not worth it, it's Max's fault. If only like 7 of you people watch this episode, it's his fault. If any more than 7, it's my idea. It's an excellent one. Sauce, let's go. Bowl, mayo. We've done this many times. Little ketchup, little yellow prepared mustard.
For Christ's sakes, how many people know the goddamn, know the secret sauce recipe?
Like a little sriracha, little diced pickle.
Like, it's one of the worst kept secrets in food history.
Get in there, you. A little pinch of salt and pepper. We mix. Chunky Big Mac sauce. Now for the beef. It's a pound of ground beef. Certainly not going to use it all. Here's the thinking. These are the tortillas that we buy. You can see they start to dry out and crack and stuff by the end of the day. But I need 1/4's worth. I think if I take 1/3 of a pound and spread it into that, what is that, triangle? Triangle with the rounded edge shape, right?
Triangle with a rounded
That's what I'm
edge?
saying. Well, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, that piece of shit Fauci's getting grilled. God damn. Let's see. Let's get Trump convicted of bullshit charges, but a guy who damn near wrecked the fucking country because of a bad flu. Yeah, let's let him go. If anything, Fauci should be in fucking prison.
What I'm asking, what is that
I
shape?
know,
Is that a shape?
I don't know. I don't think it is defined as a shape. It's not like a trapezoid.
Is a quarter of this? It's mostly triangle with the rounded one side. Is that?
Oh, for Christ's sakes, people died of COVID about as often as they died of the goddamn flu. They way inflated the numbers on COVID. Somebody came in with 5 bullet wounds, dies, they do a COVID test. Oh, he has COVID. Throw that on the number. That was proven to happen.
At any shape that anybody here knows. Max says it's not, so it. I don't care.
You can't just have a thing with 4 straight sides, 3 curved edges, and be like, oh yeah, that's a square.
It's a square.
Square.
It's exactly what it is. So this looks like about 1/3 of a pound to me. Let's see. It's come
Why would you dirty up a spatula? Just use your fucking finger. Use your hands, man.
along. Pardon my hands. Rounded. You see this?
Making like a slice of pizza, right?
Like a slice of. Thank you. That's what it's called.
No, it's called a circangle.
Circangle. All right, but let's just see. Is this? No, how's I doing it? Wait, where's my rounded part? Was it supposed to be there? But this is more rounded.
Edges.
Wait, where's
You
it?
need one rounded
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm not doing this. I'll just chop up the beef and add the damn sauce to it.
edge.
Right. So then this I need more. Watch. This, right?
Oh, that's a good
Square
Circangle.
squangle.
circangle.
So where's the halfway point? Maybe this is the way to do it. Pretty close. I think I need to come out a little bit more. Like halfway is like here, a little bit more. This is fun. This is called playing with your food. And of course it's gonna shrink a bit, right? So if you make your squirt angle or whatever Max has been calling it a slightly larger, does that look right, boys?
Yes.
Think you need more?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, I'll give it.
Same reason I refuse to goddamn make square patties anytime I recreate anything from Wendy's.
Just a tiny bit more.
That's a good circumference.
Beautiful. Okay, season this a little bit. Pretty thin, so just one side. And cook it on the flat top. Right, little oil, little spread. And then what are you calling this, Max?
Yeah, I've had
the
Italian
circ
ice.
angle. Fine, I know I said I wouldn't. I can't look at it bare. It's just a little BFF. All right, just let her cook. Lovely. Well, I'm not gonna wait too long before I flip it because it'll shrink even more, but it's gonna cook a little bit when we throw the whole thing back on. So let's give it a flip. Fabulous. All right, couple minutes.
Yeah, I got the stupid COVID vaccination because my whole stupid fucking family basically berated me to get it. Finally, I was like, fine, fuck it. I wasn't scared of COVID. I'm not scared of the jab.
It comes off, and we're almost there. All right, let's get this off, get ready to build. All right, so here's how we start. We're gonna make one line, one cut mark here, halfway and down. First on some cheese in this lower quadrant. Doesn't have to be perfectly exact. There you go. Now our patty. I think we were working like this, right? It did shrink a bit. It's gonna be okay, guys. I wanted to make it bigger. Sauce, perfect. Some lettuce. We've got pickle up here.
Okay, I know I'm splitting hairs a little bit here, but isn't this closer to a crunch wrap than a quesadilla? A quesadilla is you fucking fold it over in half and you put it on the griddle.
Diced onion, probably way more than McDonald's would ever give you, but it's gonna be good. And last but not least, fries. Up in here, up in here. Come on, everybody. Work with me, and you'll see. Great. So here's how this happens. This guy quickly comes and folds like a blanket over the top. You press down. This side comes and folds like a blanket over top. You see where this is going. Final over the top is this way.
Yeah, isn't this closer to a crunch wrap? Ah, whatever, fuck it.
Like so. This whole guy onto the flat top to get crispy and gorgeous. And we're in.
Yeah, well, when you have the... whatever.
Wow, it's a big boy. If I need to put something on it to help it. Right, we do that side, flip it over, and then eat it. Seems pretty obvious. We don't want to get too crisp.
Basically had a new addition to the family, and it's like, fine, for the baby, I'll do it.
Melting up real nice.
Real nice. Oh yeah, that's gonna come out.
Besides, I've often said there's 20 people on this planet who can actually change my opinion, or whose emotional state will bother me.
Look at that. All right, I'm gonna flip, but do this, do this, do this. Oh, look at that. You know what that is? Who wants that?
Is that cheese?
Yeah, it's hot as F. All right, let's do this again.
I just wrap that cheese around a fry.
Good. All right, 2 minutes, we're out. All right, we're here. Let's take it off, cut it, and see what we've made. And we're there. Schwing. Look what we got. Huh, what do you think?
I'm excited.
All right, let's see if we can cut this kid. And, aha, look it. And it's nice and still medium rare in the middle. That's beautiful,
I hope he made that burger himself.
huh? Well, let's have a bite, shall we? I mean, why wouldn't we? I think we're about closer to a half
Okay, and I'll be completely honest. That looks fucking delicious.
a pound of meat in here now. It's damn delicious. Jesus. But I got grease all over my glasses. Worse, it's damn delicious, and how could it not be? Beef, cheese, pickles, lettuce, fries, and the mac sauce. That honestly makes everything better. Well, if you appreciate this, like we appreciate you, you could hit the subscribe button, because if you do, you could be one of the people, like this person, to win a Sam
How old is this guy?
the Cooking Guy knife. Just find your name on the screen, reach out to us, and we'll hook you up. It's that simple. Wow. Honestly, this was pretty simple. By the way, you don't have to make the Nico's flour tortilla burrito, a giant size version like we did. Make a small one. Scale everything back. See ya.
If I did this, I'd do it in a completely different way, but that's just me. Actually, now I've got a thought in my head. I wonder if the damn thing would work.
Rowing is boring and hard, but it's a full-body workout that engages 86% of muscle.
All right, let's see. 3 cheese baked ziti. Okay, this is only a minute long. All right. With you so far. The only thing I would say for this girl is don't try to be tasty. Let your personality shine through. Never use mascarpone for this. Well, looks good. There's not a whole lot to commentate on this. All right. This guy says spaghetti is better if you cook it this way. Or actually, this lady.
Today I'm making a one-pan super easy and quick spaghetti. I'm also going to make homemade cornbread to go along with my delicious spaghetti dinner.
Okay, stop. Now, look, I love spaghetti dinners. I like cornbread, but I never thought in a million years to put the two of them together. So...
Okay, so I am working with 1 pound of lean ground beef, 1 pound of spaghetti pasta, and a 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce, a bag of frozen green beans that were open. I need to cook.
I never in a million years would have thought to put green beans with my spaghetti.
That, and I'm going to start by making homemade cornbread. So in a large bowl, I'm going to add some self-rising yellow cornmeal.
What the fuck?
Vegetable oil, and now I'm going to add my buttermilk. You want to start with like a cup of buttermilk.
Okay, look, and I love homemade cornbread. Made it myself twice on this channel, I think. It just doesn't go with spaghetti. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll see how your spaghetti turns out, but...
Milk. I sort of...
And by the way, I'm sure this cornmeal, this cornbread is delicious. Odd combination.
Eyeball and mix until it just comes together. By the way, I started mixing this, and as you can see, I'm mixing this. Everything's fine, but guess what? I forgot to add another dry ingredient. So I'm going to add 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You should probably add that with the dry cornmeal before you add the liquids. Okay, so just give that a mix. And I'm going to add some more buttermilk. Like I said, I sort of eyeball. Start with a cup, work your way up until you get a thick cornbread batter. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to use a buttered cast iron skillet. This is like...
Okay, I like that for the cornbread. Again, I'm not sure why it's with spaghetti, but...
like an 8-inch cast iron skillet. And I'm just going to scrape in all of my cornbread batter. By the way, I used around 2 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter for this cast iron skillet, and I have my oven preheating to 425 degrees.
By the way, cast iron skillet, the most versatile pan in your goddamn kitchen and one of the most underrated ones.
Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake this for about 15-20 minutes or until it's cooked through in the center. Okay, so this is done. It's going into my preheated oven. Now for my meat sauce. In a large pan, I'm adding cooking oil and my ground beef. And I'm just going to start breaking apart this ground beef. Essentially, this is like one of the easiest, quickest homemade spaghetti dinners that I make. Sometimes the veggie changes and sometimes I make cornbread or garlic bread, but this is it. Okay, teaspoon of beef bouillon powder going into my ground beef. You could just season with your favorite salt, pepper, other seasonings. I'm going with some cracked black pepper, some beef bouillon powder went into there. I'm also going to add some of this all-purpose seasoned salt blend. Paprika is going in here. And some granulated garlic powder and...
Okay, so this might be a southwestern spaghetti, in which case the cornbread might work.
Some dehydrated minced onion. You can chop some fresh onion. You really can bulk up this meat sauce and add fresh veggies into the mix. That's always great. Okay, so just break that apart and continue cooking the ground beef. And I'm just going to cook this over a medium to medium-high heat until it browns like this. Okay, so now it's time to add my marinara sauce. I'm just going to pour in the jar right into the ground beef. Do is just give this a quick mix so it doesn't splatter, and I'm going to fill my jar up with water because remember, this is a one pot, one pan spaghetti and I need extra water to cook the spaghetti. I'm going to cover with a lid and get any residual sauce that's left in the jar, give it a mix, and just pour right into the pan.
Okay, but unless you bought super lean ground beef, you're going to still need to drain the fucker.
And at this point, you want to give things a mix and just sort of pick up all of that fond at the bottom of the pan and mix everything together. I'm going to add a little more water, maybe an extra cup, some sugar, and some seasoned salt. Here I'm adding some more beef bouillon powder. I want to make sure that this is seasoned well because this is where I'm cooking the spaghetti. So give things a mix, give it a taste, adjust to your preference.
Oh, this method. I guess the spaghetti will soak everything up.
So here I am mixing all the seasonings in.
I've never been a big fan of one-pot pasta dishes because of all the starch in the pasta.
And you could do this into a pot. Some people break their pasta in half for it to fit, but this is a large pan. And once it starts to simmer like this, it's time to add the spaghetti. So I'm just sort of gonna put this in here in like a layer as best as I can. I'm probably going to drop some of this. And you're probably thinking, why are you doing this? And I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I don't want to get another pot of water dirty, and it's easy to make it this way. So let me just pick up my mess here. And you don't want the sauce and liquid to boil out of control because the pasta will get kind of goopy and not cook well. So you want to keep it at a constant simmer. So I'm just going to push in the spaghetti pasta into all of the liquid, make sure that it's...
Also to compensate for the fact that some of the pasta's been in the hot liquid for about a minute, maybe two, and some of the pasta's still sitting well above that.
Merged.
And some of the pasta is stuck together now.
And I might have to add another extra cup of water throughout the cooking process, but essentially let it gently simmer, and you want to stir it every now and again. Don't let it get kind of...
Again, this is why I hate this method.
Clumpy and lumped together because it is pasta, it'll get sticky. And this is going to take right at 15 minutes or so. It depends how done you want your pasta. So I'm just going to start cooking these frozen green beans. This is enough for 3 people. Some butter and some seasonings. Garlic powder, onion powder is going to go in. And I'm going to add a lemon pepper blend and just let that cook. It's as easy as that. Sometimes I do sweet peas or mixed vegetables. This is just something easy and quick.
Why? Why? Why are there people that insist on putting peas or green beans with our spaghetti? Why? Now, full disclosure, I hate peas and I hate green beans.
Okay, a little bit more water is going in. You can see how it's starting to soften and cook. I have it at just a constant simmer. It's not quite a boil. And you just let it cook until tender. Here's my cornbread. It smells amazing, looks amazing. It's so good. And be sure to check the description below because I will be putting ingredients and measurements for the spaghetti and the
And also, you dirtied up another pot with the fucking goddamn frozen green beans. Might as well cook the pasta separate.
cornbread. At this point, my green beans are pretty much done. I'm going to give them a stir. I kind of like them to sizzle and saute, so I'm going to let some of that moisture kind of evaporate, and then they should be done. And now my spaghetti is done. Look at this. In my opinion, it's so easy and perfect. From the point that I added my...
All right. She's just gonna... Again, you dirtied up a second pot, so it ain't exactly one pot.
I like to combine grated Parmesan cheese and crushed red pepper flakes and garnish the top of the spaghetti. My family really likes that. Sometimes fresh parsley works as well. And now I'm going to cut into this delicious golden brown sweet cornbread. And like I said, garlic bread and salad definitely worked for this, but this combination, my family loves it. So that's why I make it this way. But check this out. Perfectly cooked cornbread. So good. And this is dinner. So this was my quick and easy spaghetti dinner.
All right, like I said, I'm sure it tastes fine. I just don't get the addition of the green beans and the cornbread. Ah, fuck it, I'm sure it was delicious. Maybe it's just not my cup of tea. Now we're gonna learn something. How to make real New York deli tuna.
Salad. You have loved all the other deli recipes we've made.
By the way, I think New York is one of the most overrated food destinations on the planet. Come at me, bro. But I will be right back as I have to pee. Alrighty.
This one seems simple on paper, but there are a couple techniques and tricks that will allow you to get it to taste exactly like a deli. Here are the ingredients. Let's get into it right now. All right, New York deli tuna salad. I worked in a few delis. You guys know this if you've been watching this channel.
Alright, to be completely fair, I've never been to New York. But it's just a lot of the shit they make, it's not impressing me. And a lot of it, I think, is just living off of a reputation.
You know, we've done a bunch of the deli, potato salad, mac salad, coleslaw, chicken salad. And I will say that some recipes like coleslaw, mac are like the same everywhere. They just don't change. But tuna salad is one that some places will make it a little bit different. I think this is like the best basic one. All right, so I am using...
Okay. Why is it that people say New York style pizza is the best pizza on the planet when it is a goddamn soda cracker with pizza toppings on it?
Bumblebee, these are 5-ounce cans. Delis will often use the chunk light. They'll use, you know, if it's like a fancy deli, maybe they'll do half of the solid albacore, then they'll do half of the chunk light. Chunk light is just, it's like mashed already. We're gonna mash this anyway, so it's not a big deal if you use all chunk light. I have albacore here, they were on sale. We're gonna do 4 cans here, which is gonna be enough for about...
No, I hate to say that, but chunk light tuna kind of sucks. I always spend the extra and get the goddamn albacore.
About 4 people for this recipe. I have 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Okay, that is something that I really like to put in there. It's not gonna be overly soy saucy. You're not even gonna notice it. It will add an oomph to it. That's good. I have 2 tablespoons of sweet relish. That's kind of another one of those secrets. I have 1 teaspoon of celery salt. I'm not saying use a stick of celery or a rib of celery or a medium onion. I want you to use the exact amount that I'm saying here. So it's gonna be a half a cup of finely diced celery and a half a cup of finely diced onion. We have mayo, Hellmann's mayo. Delis, all delis will use the thicker mayo. It's called like decorator mayo, caterer mayo. Often it's not Hellmann's, it'll just be a generic brand. It makes it really thick, so it's almost like a paste. Don't worry about it though. I do recommend you use Hellmann's and not Duke's. Definitely don't use Miracle Whip, okay? Use Hellmann's. That's gonna be what tastes like a New York deli. Secret ingredient here, we might not need it. This is just some crackers, some whatever. You can use Ritz, you can use
There are those little mini toast things you find in your supermarket deli.
bread. If it's too wet, this can dry it up very quickly. You want it to be kind of pasty where it doesn't fall off of your sandwich. And speaking of the sandwich, we're going to use...
Okay, I can't give an opinion on Duke's. I've never used it. It's available. I just never used it.
Use rye bread, and then we're also going to use...
Maybe I'll buy a jar tomorrow.
Quintessential New York deli roll, okay? They're called hard rolls, but they're not. They're more the lines of soft. Many of you have asked me about a recipe for this. I'm working on it. It's proving difficult to make. There's nobody on the internet that has one. Tomato, if you like, on it. And then I have some American cheese, Boar's Head, Land O'Lakes, whatever you like, whatever your fancy is. You can also use cheddar or Swiss if you want to.
If you're making American cheese, I'm sorry, but Kraft singles are just fine too.
Make it real fancy. Before I exit here, I just want to clarify. We're going to make a tuna melt with this. If you don't want a tuna melt, then you're not going to use the cheese, most likely. Oh, you can.
Actually, yeah, I used to buy squeeze bottle mayo for shit like if I'm like doing. And no, it tastes like dog shit compared to just get the jar crap. Of whatever brand you want. Generics, Hellmann's, Kraft mayo, Duke's.
Not melt it and it'll still be fine. But that's what the cheese and the bread are for, a tuna melt. 1 celery rib. You know, this is something that you can actually put this in a food processor because you want it to be fairly thin. Like you could go even thinner than I'm doing.
Yeah, careful with a food processor because you'll turn it into water.
Doing this. All right, so I'm guessing that's probably a half a cup there, but I want you to do exactly a half a cup. If you have gigantic celery like I have, it will only take 1 rib. Okay, and then I just have an onion that I have from yesterday because we definitely didn't need that huge onion. Really important, drain the heck out of this. Now listen, if you don't do it too well right now, you're gonna have an opportunity the next day to drain it. And That is the single biggest factor of whether your tuna salad is going to taste anything like a deli or not, is if you put it in the refrigerator overnight. It's more important
What? All right, I may have to try this because I've never put my tuna in the fridge overnight.
than anything else. Because often, like, you think of tuna as this like easy thing. You're just gonna open up a can of tuna, you're gonna mix it up, and then you say, it tastes nothing like the deli down the street. It tastes nothing like that deli. I'm using the same ingredients. It's just because they're letting it sit. You can just open your can all the way and just squeeze the heck out of it. Okay, so now take your well-drained cans and just add them into a large bowl. All right, so I'm gonna add in the sweet relish, that's 2 tablespoons. And remember, you can fool around with these amounts. If it's not sweet enough to your liking, you can add more. You know, this is actually one of the few deli salad recipes that, from what I remember, is they don't put sugar in. So, because sugar is in almost everything in a deli case in massive quantities.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay?
That's why I don't buy jarred sauce.
It's just how it is.
Want to upgrade but still paying off your locked phone? Break free from 3-year device contracts. Switch to T-Mobile.
All right, breaking out the most important change on this show. You got to get in here, and we want to essentially turn this tuna into like nothing. I almost kind of get my hand in there, and I just start like this, and that really mashes it. The goal is to really have no pieces of tuna, like none.
I get it. You don't want to wash your hands. Well, actually, you wouldn't have to wash. Well, you. Okay, you're not handling raw product, but I mean, it takes 5 seconds to run some goddamn water on your hand, and you know everything's cooked.
And you want this to be almost like a cohesive thing. If you did a really good job, like I did, it will be very flaky. Let this sit for about 10 or 15 minutes to just absorb the other flavors, and then we will mix our mayo in. 1 to 1 1/4 cups of mayo right now. That should be good for now. All right, so I'm gonna mix this all in here, and again, you could break out a glove and do it again, but just get it thoroughly incorporated. You're not really gonna be able to tell here how dry it is or whatnot. You're gonna be able to tell.
Wait a second. Fuck it. I'm not gonna back him up. Cause he mentioned something about letting the tuna sit overnight, but he didn't.
The next day, just adding a little bit of bread, like crackers or breadcrumbs, just canned breadcrumbs, you know, store-bought breadcrumbs. It will just dry it, it will suck it up immediately, because you want it to be like that. You don't want it to fall off the sandwich. I got white pepper. It doesn't, if you don't have white pepper, just use black pepper. It's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. So if you want more celery seed, all that, I would probably wait till the next day, because all this stuff is the flavors are gonna amplify, they're gonna increase. The single most important thing that you can do is cover it well and get it in the fridge. Overnight, I recommend, if you can't do it overnight, at least get it in there for like 4 or 6 hours till it gets nice and cold, but really do it overnight. Okay, it's overnight. It really is overnight. Now, I took a page from Emeril and the Food Network and all those other shows. This is the one I just made, okay, obviously. And this is the one that's been in the fridge overnight. So what we want to do here is, you can see there's definitely moisture down.
Okay, dude, you're doing a cooking show for YouTube. You're not on a 30-minute live TV show.
Down here. If it was really wet, then I would say you got to drain it. Like, take a strainer, drain it. We did this for the chicken salad. This is not wet enough to do that, but we will add a couple crackers, and it's going to stiffen it up. Before I put the crackers in, I just want to show you, this might be completely fine for you, and that's fine for a lot of people. We'll just put a couple crackers in there. Perfect.
Wow.
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Now listen, you could start with like maybe not all of them. Now I'm gonna mix this in, see if it stiffens it up. It's gonna absorb all of the liquid.
Well, yes, add a little in at a time, because you can always add, but once it's in, it's a bitch.
that's like outstanding in the bowl. And you know, you could use saltines, Ritz crackers, anything like that. Just like this. Now look, at this point, you can mix in more mayo. And we normally, the next day, I always need to put in another quarter, sometimes up to a half a cup. That's what the recipe says, up to a half a cup. That is so good. The onion comes through much more now. The celery, a little bit more salt.
Well, hell, I think I'll have to make this tomorrow.
Actually.
Or in 2 days' time.
This is outstanding. There's a way to make everything good, better, best. The trick with these salads is just overnight, then remix, drain, then remix, and then season. Sandwich making 101, you never put tomato.
Well, geez, I've never seen a professional chef use them. I've never seen anyone on the Food Network use them. Never seen them on Hell's Kitchen. And again, working with raw meat on your hands is not that big of a deal. Your odds of getting sick are pretty fucking low.
Tomato and cheese together, though sometimes you have to. For this one, if you want to have cheese on both sides of the bread, there's nothing else going to be here except for the tuna. You're going to have to do that. Or you could just sacrifice it and just do the cheese on one side of the bread.
Why is it that the tomato and the cheese shouldn't touch?
They slide. It just...
Now, I will say that when I'm cooking with, like, ground beef, I generally only wash my hands once. If it's chicken, it can be 5 or 6 times.
It slides, and then when you bite it, it just goes and it like flies out. But you know, look, sometimes rules are meant to be broken. Let's cut our tomato. I'm gonna toast it.
Okay, I know it's your sandwich and it's your thing, but those tomato slices were way too thick, Bucky.
Bread. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of oil. You can do butter too, but I don't want it to be too much here. Olive oil and a little brush. So just a touch.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about your scam.
Okay, just a little.
Again. Everything was fine up until that tomato.
Little touch on both sides. Just about a minute or two per side, just to get it a little bit toasty, and then we'll lay our cheese, broil it, and it'll be done. And it'll be great. It's gonna be great. Look, perfect. That's all I want. Just a little bit of toast. Toasted action. Not too much. It's another 30 seconds. Got my broiler on. We'll do one, like, I guess, a more traditional way so the cheese doesn't hit, so we'll do a couple slices on it. Broiler, minute, 2, 3. Just don't incinerate it, but we want it to get nice and melty. Be right back.
Okay, one thing you didn't mention. Do not leave the kitchen for any reason while your shit is in the broiler or it'll be burnt to fuck.
So let's do a little deli wrap for James, because James isn't gonna be back for a long time. I'll show you how to do a deli wrap. So look, take these two.
What happened to James? Did James get arrested?
Pieces together, like this. Turn down, fingers like this. 1, 2, under. Now everything is contained in there. Now you can cut. But that's what you would do there, like this. So one more piece of paper, wrap it again. You could also use a piece of foil now and wrap it. That would be a good thing to do as well. The taste tester is here for the tuna melt.
I really like the tuna.
Okay, your shit was way too thickly filled. It's already spilling out of the side.
Salad. I like the rye bread. I don't like the cheese with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks tasty as fuck too. I will say that.
Yeah. Instead of cheese, just put lettuce on it. Like.
Well, yeah, that's.
But you can't put that in the broiler. All right, because his son is here, I'm going to bow out. Because YouTube's always cranky about. And let's see if the YouTube gods are kind to me. Guy Fieri's Bucatini Carbonara.
You want to show them favorite pasta? Huh? You love it, don't you? One of our favorite pastas in the Fieri family is carbonara. Now, carbonara is one of those dishes that I think has been screwed up so many times, but I'm going to show you how I do carbonara, and you're going to love it. So why does Smokey like carbonara? Because it all kicks off with pancetta, right? Huh, Smokey Dog? Yeah, a little beggar. So pancetta is
Also,
bacon, but it's not smoked. Right
also,
here.
I probably wouldn't have used American cheese for a tuna melt. I probably would have used like Gouda or like a Gouda and cheddar.
Here, that's the bacon. If we unravel this, we
And
can't.
trust me, I love American cheese. And yes, I know it's horrible for me. But trust me, on a burger, nothing better.
If we unravel this, that's the pork belly right there. The Italians make it look a lot cooler. So what we've done is asked for about a 1/4 inch. We're going to go ahead and give it about the same 1/4 inch, well, maybe a 1/2 inch.
And right now, a bunch of pretentious asshole Italians are sitting there going, no, it is a guanciale. Which technically is true, but I'm sorry, Italians. We can't find it here in the States. Or at least we don't want to bother looking all over hell for it, because I've looked for it in Minnesota. I can't find it.
Give it a little cut. The colder this pancetta is, the easier it's going to be to work with. When it starts getting a little warm, it starts getting a little slick, it starts sliding around. So carbonara, what is it again? So it's pancetta, egg yolks, little parsley, and some great pasta. And that's...
No, actually, there's no parsley in it. Here is the original recipe for carbonara, as taught to me by Antonio Carluccio. And yes, that was a real guy. It's pasta, spaghetti, spaghettoni, bucatini, whatever, guanciale, eggs, pepper, and Parmesan. That's it. That's it.
Just about it, folks. When you start seeing peas in it, when you start seeing heavy cream added to it, you're not really having carbonara. I think this is about as close to traditional as you'll find. I could be screwing something up, but this is the way we make it, okay? So I've got a pan here, diced up that pancetta. I don't want to be too hot when I go into the pan.
And by the way, carbonara is fucking delicious. I've made it several times on the program.
So we're just going to let this go medium to low heat. If we get this too hot too fast, we're not going to render that fat out. We're going to use that fat in the dish, but most importantly is we want that pancetta
No, we were lovers in Tuscany, Gloop.
to be nice and crispy.
If you're uninsured,
Well, if it's made properly, the egg should be cooked properly. If they wait too long, yeah, that egg's going to be fucking raw. And the other thing with carbonara is, if you go too early, you get scrambled eggs.
you could have rough waves ahead. Progressive Boat Insurance can protect your boat belongings.
Once again, proving leftists have no idea what a joke is. Yes, he was in my Italian poppy. He served me mimosas on the Mediterranean and taught me carbonara. And all I had to do for that recipe was things with him that would make the devil throw up.
Okay, pancetta's working, rendering down nicely. Hot water, boiling water, screaming water. This water's got to be going. And how much water are we looking for? Come on, I'm going to ask you at home. I know you're checking your phone right now.
A shit ton.
It's a gallon of water to a tablespoon of salt. This is where we miss it so often. People go like this, and I'm not kidding you. I watch it all the time. Okay, we're salted. No way. This is getting salted, okay? I don't eat pasta like I used to. But I'll tell you what, when we're going to do it right. We're going to use the right amount of water. We're going to salt it the right way. And we're going to use great pasta. And the pasta we're going to use is called bucatini. Okay? Bucatini is spaghetti with a hole in the middle. Right there.
I love bucatini.
I'm going to tell you a statement that we use all the time, and that is pasta waits for no one. I want this sauce done. I want this ready to go, and then I'll drop my pasta. And the reason is, as long as it's hot and as long as it has moisture, it's going to continue to cook. And the deal is, overcooked pasta, nothing could be worse. We know how to cut the onion, right? Simple little method, cut off the top. That's where the onion grew from. That's the belly button of the onion. If you keep this onion together, it's going to make it a lot easier to dice. Now, make sure we peel down deep enough into that onion, because that one layer that you don't go and grab, like this one right here, it's like shoe leather. You can cut it up all you want. It's never going to break down. Get that real nice, tender, juicy inside of the onion. We'll cut.
I go one layer below that.
Through here. This is going to give us the chance to almost have it pre-diced.
Why didn't you do the slices? Whatever.
Look at it, make sure it's uniform. We want that onion to really disappear into this dish. Let's get into the pasta. There's a lot.
Also, you don't add onion to fucking carbonara. I love onion in pasta, but you don't add onion into carbonara.
A lot going on in the world of pasta. There's great pastas. There's cheap pastas. Why does one cost a bunch and one cost a little? I want you to look at the pasta here real quick. And it's got kind of this dry texture to it, almost kind of like it's handmade. I want you to spend the money. You're going to notice that when you cook this pasta, it's going to take it longer to cook. It's going to be harder. You're going to be mixing it in here. And you're like, why is this thing so hard? Because it's the way the pasta's dried. When the pasta gets...
Yes, actually spend the extra couple of bucks and get the premium pasta at your local grocery store. Trust me, you will enjoy the difference.
Chance to really naturally dry, it's going to lose more.
Now, look, do I use cheaper pastas? Yeah, all the time. But that's also for dishes where there's, they don't really need to be hearty.
More of its moisture. The more moisture that's out of it, the drier the pasta is, the longer it takes to reconstitute or rehydrate. Okay? So
yeah, you generally, if you want to have a pasta thing and you're trying to make it special for a date or for a whatever, get the bronze die cut pasta. And again, the regular pasta, the generic store pasta, I mean, it's fine, but it's not going to take the sauce as well. The bronze die cut, that's the thing. The bronze die cut takes the sauce a lot better. I mean, it's $1 and premium pasta is $3. What are you saving? Wow, $2! Yeah, if you're 7, that might mean something, but not when you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s. Not when you're an adult. You should have a job.
Bucatini, water's boiling. We're going to go in. Now, this is where it gets critical, folks. I'm not ready because my pancetta is not ready. Hang on a second. And
I'm gobsmacked. I haven't got the yellow triangle of doom.
Got this slotted spoon so I can pull the pancetta. Let me let that pancetta continue to work. Let me get into my eggs real quick. I got a lot of moving parts here. It's simple, but it's super important to follow the rules with this. The eggs. So
okay, like I said, if you're making a quick weeknight meal, it's fine. Just buy the cheap crap. But if you're making something for, hell, even like a Saturday dinner, spend the $2.
We're going to go, the better the egg. When we have the eggs from the chicken coop, the organic eggs, I mixed that up. I went backwards, but it's all right. Egg yolks.
Even though I watched it in a video, okay, disclosure, I watched him in a video. Doesn't mean I wasn't taught by him.
The better if
I believe you can learn things on YouTube.
You can find really dynamite organic eggs where those yolks are just golden, orange. It's just going to make you better carbonara. Get the whites out.
Again, like I said, I was still taught by the man. We just never met.
More yolks, the better. And you know I'm not an egg fan, right? But I'll tell you something. The one time that they really do work is for this and for Caesar dressing.
this is the
I
most fucked up commercial.
All right, take a look at this. Nice, crispy, beautiful pancetta. I should probably taste that just in the name of science. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Still tender, not too crispy. Let that fat sit at the bottom of the pan. And why am I doing this? Because I want to reserve that fat. Now, this isn't the same.
Can you name any tasty dishes one could eat that doesn't require a fridge? Well, pretty much anything. It's just any leftovers are going to probably have to be thrown away. It's just the fridge holds the leftovers. But if you go to the grocery store and immediately start cooking, you should be fine. But I do something quick.
Same kind of fat, the same kind of flavor that you get from bacon. This isn't nearly as smoky. This is actually a little bit saltier. And I can't, why did I not put the onions in right now? Because I don't want to waste my crispiness. You know, I'll tell you something. I remember when I first got on the Food Network, someone walked up to me and said, hey, when you do a cookbook, can you make sure that the recipes are real? And I said, what does that mean? They said, well, I bought some of those cookbooks from some of the famous chefs. And, oh, look who just showed up. Hi, Smokey.
No, don't
said
give
I bought
him.
one of those cookbooks, and I don't know that the
well, guy's rich. He can pay for the dewormer.
recipe was that real. I said, well, what happened? Well, I did this, I did this. I said, wait a second, did you follow the steps, or did you just add all the ingredients? Yeah, I don't know ingredients. I mean, why do you have all the steps? They make it a lot harder that way. I said, because that's the whole process. You shortcut this, you put those onions in with that pancetta right now, you're gonna sog up that pancetta, all that moisture coming in from the onion. And we get to use that delicious fat.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to have onions in pancetta or in carbonara anyway, but yeah. That's why you follow the goddamn steps.
All right, so we're gonna let the onions sweat a little bit. Let me give it.
He gave his dog pork. That'll pretty much lead to the dog getting worms. And for whatever reason, it could still get worms from goddamn cooked pork. I don't know why. I'm not a vet.
A touch of salt. Got to watch the salt content of this. You can have salt. I'm going to help this to pull some of the moisture out of the onions, but let's watch it. We got a lot of salt in the pancetta. Not all pancetta is the same. All right, so you get that pancetta that's super salty. Your dish is going to be salty. Plus, we have my favorite cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano. This is from Parma, Italy. This is the bomb. Hunter and I were in Italy together, and when we went through Parma, we went and actually made.
Yes, I know, because you just try to keep ramming your insufferable son up everyone's asses.
Parmesan cheese. Going to cheese heaven. This is it, man. This is the key. Again, when I talk.
Yeah, and that goddamn wheel is like. Got some insane amount of money. It's like $3,000 for that bastard.
About critical basics. Really good eggs, really good Parmesan cheese, really good bucatini, really good pancetta. Do it the right way, and you're going to have a rock star dish. You get a little cracked black pepper. All right, we're gonna drop pasta. Still boiling water. You start potatoes in cold water and bring them to a simmer. But why do we start pasta with boiling water and drop it in? Well, the potato we're cooking from the inside out, and we're cooking this big potato. On this pasta, we are literally cooking from the outside in, and we're gonna get right to the inside of the pasta where it just has a little bit of bite to it, and what we call al dente, dente tooth, Latin, I guess. But that is the key, is the pasta waits for no one. This is all ready to go. We'll drop the pasta. Remember, we salted it with a tablespoon of salt. No, there's no breaking the pasta. Take a look right here. This is starting to cook, and this is sitting out. We spent a little bit of time, that first 30 seconds, and get in here and work this around and make sure that everybody's in the pool. You also notice that I have the strainer inside of the pot. It gives us a chance to pull the pasta immediately, not have to go to the sink and do all that, but it also retains that pasta water, which is going to be super critical in the finale of this dish because we're not going to add cream to it, and we have to have some other body, some other medium to work.
Hey, I can't believe it. Guy Fieri's not adding cream. I was expecting that. Another huge no-no.
With to make this nice and creamy, and it's going to be that pasta water. One of the things I always say about cooking, you got to be present. When you're here doing this isn't time to check your email. Anything gets off. We burn those onions or over-caramelize them. We overcook that pasta. We overcook this pancetta, anything. There's only a few spokes in this wheel of the bite going to flavor.
Yeah. This is a dish that you need your full attention on. If this was smoking a brisket, shit, not only do you have time to goddamn send some emails, you got time to do a fucking live stream. You got time to play most of the Force Unleashed too.
For town, all right? So we can't mess that up. We got to stay with it. Onions are almost done. A pasta's just about finished.
I think it is just the shirt. I don't think it's soaked in sweat. At least I hope not.
I've got some of this Parmigiano Reggiano, really nicely grated. We're going to mix that in to the eggs.
Because you figure if it was that soaked in sweat, his hair would, you know, be down.
And then we're going to temper the eggs into this mixture with the onions. And when I say temper it, we got to go in nice and slow. Otherwise, we're going to make ourselves an omelet, and that's not what we want. This is where it gets kind of, not iffy, but you really got to be on top of this.
Yeah, because the heat has to be enough to cook the eggs, but not enough to turn it into either A, an omelet, or B, scrambled eggs.
Onions are beautiful. Take a look at that pasta. And I'm on that pasta all day long. I can tell by when I start pulling it out of the pot whether or not we're there. Just a little white dot in the center of it. Take my...
Hi, we're Visible, the wireless company that makes things visible. With us, what you see is what you...
Gonna go into a mixing bowl. Now, why into the mixing bowl and not into the pan? I want to show you a method that I think is going to be a little bit more helpful to you, because if you go into this pan and it's super, super hot, you have a real good chance of cooking these eggs. So now I'm going to take my onions with the pancetta fat right in there. I've got my eggs done with my Parmesan cheese, and I am mixing this as fast as I can to keep this from setting up on me and turning into an omelet. Oh, I am telling you, you're gonna love this. A little bit more of the egg. Can't have really enough egg in this. Did you ever think you'd hear that from me? Now, as we say, and as I've learned forever, pasta is not a castle, so it should not sit in a moat of sauce. We are amalgamating all...
Hey, I like my pasta over-sauced.
All those beautiful onions, that Parmesan.
That's just me, though. Anyway, I gotta go take a whiz, or a beer. Yeah. Be right back. All right.
On cheese and those eggs, and it should just be sticking right to that pasta with that cheese. Oh. Fortunately, I'm so quick with the knife, I won't have to worry about this. Should have my parsley prepped out.
Whatever.
I want to add a little color to this. It really needs it. and that little herbaceousness. That pasta was retaining some water.
Reminds me, I got to spend a couple of hours sharpening my knives.
But you could see how it started to dry up a little bit. Just a touch of water, not a bunch. It's going to rehydrate. What's going to do is it's going to let that creaminess of that cheese wake back up. Just give myself a little serving
I have a lot of knives, bucko.
of this. I want you to see how golden. Nest the pasta when we put it down and stand it up a little bit. Grab some of the bits from the bottom. Is your mouth watering yet? Mine is. Okay. Touch more of that cheese. And you know the great thing about this, and we do this a lot for Christmas, is we serve in courses. And I'll serve pasta just like that, a small, little, beautiful portion. Let me show you the right way to get into this pasta.
Okay. The only other thing I'm disagreeing is it should have another dusting of black pepper on top of it. Remember, pepper is kind of important to this dish.
By the way, we don't use these spoons. Once you grab the edge of that fork, grab about 2 strands, and I want you to bring that pasta right over here to the side. And you can tell it's al dente the way it kind of sweeps that plate. It's simple, it's basic, and it's tons of flavor.
Well, I didn't get the yellow triangle of doom, so let's see what happens tomorrow. All right. This is from Salt and Thyme.
We are making a chorizo mac and cheese for lunch. So in my pan.
Oh, dude. You might wanna. I don't know what the fuck you do. You might want to consider just doing voiceover for your cooking videos.
And here, I've already got a few things started. In my
Because your kitchen is just, the open space is just amplifying the shit out of it.
I have roasted my onions, and you can see how beautiful, nice golden brown these onions are. And this is just to kind of add a little bit of depth to the flavor of the dish. Now, because I wanted to get color on those onions, I didn't add any salt and pepper. What happens when I add salt is it pulls out the moisture from the onions and prevents it from browning. So
Well, his onions are already halfway done.
I haven't done any seasoning yet. Now I'm going to add a couple of cloves of minced garlic.
Nothing wrong. Nothing
And I just want to
horrible.
cook this just for a couple of minutes. I'm not trying to brown the garlic. Now we just want to soften up the garlic. Now at this point, you could also add a minced up jalapeno. I'm not going to for this particular batch that I'm making here, only because when I made the chorizo sausage, usually I put tequila in it, but this time I actually put in, which is something I like to use every now and then, is a 5-pepper vodka from Roots and Wings. So it's got a bit of a kick to it, so I don't want.
I think I've made chorizo before. I've never heard of adding tequila to it. You have my interest, sir.
I'm going to go too crazy with the family here. So my onions looking great. My garlic's in there, sweating. It's softened up. Now I want to add my chorizo sausage. So I'm just going to kind of break this up as I put it in. Now I'll have a link in the recipe if you want to make your own chorizo sausage. And basically this one here is I just bought some ground pork, nothing too lean, something with a little bit of fat in it, and then added all of our spices to it. And then you don't have to stuff it or anything, just leave it loose like this. If you are going to purchase a chorizo sausage, you want a fresh chorizo sausage, not the dried. You're just going to remove it from the casings before you cook it. And just keep in mind, this dish is only going to be as good as the sausage you put in here. So you don't want to buy something that is just full of filler. You want something with lots of flavor. Lots of artisan butchers make really nice chorizo sausage. Some of the meat producers as well, I've seen online, sell packages of chorizo spice ground meat as well, which would be perfect in here. So I'm just going to kind of break this sausage up, give it a chance to cook. We'll let this go for probably 4 or 5 minutes.
I'm not really... My only criticism at this point is the bigger onion chunks, but hell, if people like them, people like them. I'm just hoping that is not pre-cooked pasta that's been sitting out there for that long. Also, Dos Equis. I love Dos Equis.
And then we'll come back and go to the next step. Okay, we're back, and our chorizo sausage is now cooked, being able to fully break it down. I've already had a little bit of a taste of it. Boy, that 4-pepper vodka sure coming through. Now we are going to add some flour. And this is going to help thicken it up. We're going to make what we call a roux.
I'm gonna add some
So it's
butter.
going to soak up that butter that we roasted the onions in, any of the fat that came out of the
don't know if there's enough
sausage.
fat left to make a
You just want to
roux,
make
buddy.
sure we kind of keep giving things a good stir at this point. We want to cook this roux.
You maybe would have wanted to add maybe a tablespoon of butter. Because you lost a lot of the butter to the onions and the your homemade chorizo. Again, I probably would have added half the amount of butter to the flour.
2 to 3 minutes. And that's just going to start helping cook out some of that starchiness in there. And keep it on stirring now, too, because this is where things can kind of scorch on the bottom. Okay, then I'm going to add a little bit of chili powder and some cumin seed. Now, there's not a lot of seasoning I am adding in here.
Only one other thing that I'm going to bring up, I love cumin, love everything you just added, is don't wear sandals in the kitchen. That's all I got. I mean, I know it's your house. You do whatever the fuck you want. Cook naked for all I care, but don't wear sandals in the kitchen.
Because there's already a lot in the chorizo sausage itself. And in here, I put the cumin seed I left whole that I've just added. And I like the little bit of crunch you get from the cumin seed when it's whole like that. If you'd rather not, you can grind it up a little bit. Okay, so now this is cooked for a few minutes. We are going to start making our roux. We've made our roux. We're going to start adding our liquid to the roux. So I'm just going to take my spoon out.
Okay. This is just a minor complaint from me, but if you're just going to cook with the beer, screw it.
Got myself a whisk. Beer. 1 bottle of Mexican beer. Now, if you're making this recipe, don't go buy one of those single bottles. Get the whole 6-pack so you've got something to enjoy when this is done.
Well, also, those single bottles are usually out of date at most places.
You know, it's beautiful out.
I heard that from a friend of mine who worked at a liquor store. He's like, yeah, the single bottles, they're either getting close to date or they're a little bit beyond it. Get yourself a 6-pack if you want to cook with it.
Outside, A little bit of chorizo sausage, mac and cheese, and a cold beer out there. Oh. So I'm adding a little bit of liquid.
Well, beer doesn't actually go bad. It just starts to taste like shit, but it's perfectly edible. It's like ice cream that's freezer burnt. It's still perfectly edible. It just tastes like shit.
Liquid at a time. Each time I'm incorporating the liquid, I'm whisking it so that there's no lumps in here.
I just don't know, with the strong flavors of the chorizo and the onions, I would have gone with a Dos Equis. I probably just would have grabbed a Budweiser or something, but hey, you know what? It's your beer, you do you.
I've just turned up my temperature. I'm on about a medium heat now.
But you generally took it from the oldest six-pack available, Sugar Crush, did you not? You didn't take it from the one that just came in. That's the thing. It's from the oldest six-pack in the cooler. Or in the dry section, whichever.
And again, this is important to get in the corners of your pan so that there is nothing sticking or scorching in there. A little bit more beer. I should have cracked an extra one open for when I was making this. You know, you got to taste, right? Taste.
No, you should always be drinking while you're cooking.
Taste. Okay, we're going to add the rest of the beer now. Oh. Now we're going to just bring it up to temperature. So just kind of about the simmer. We're still at about a medium heat. Okay, so I can see it starting to bubble a little bit here. So now I'm going to add a little bit of whipping cream. And we'll whisk that in. Man, that's looking good already. Okay, so to this, I am going to add, we'll take this whisk out now. I'm going to add.
Well, I know Walmart had a serious problem with theft due to the self-checkout. And yeah, self-checkout is going bye-bye at Walmart. I never heard of that, where they'd rip open a 12-pack, scan a single can, and it'd come up as a 6-pack. Never heard of that, actually, but I'll believe it. Or hell, there's a gap in the 6-pack. I suppose you could scan a single can.
2 cups of cooked macaroni noodles.
All right, normally I don't leave pasta that's cooked out like that, but not a big deal.
Just like so. We'll give that a quick stir. And it won't be mac and cheese without cheese, so I have my cheese mix here, just a little bit. So I'm just using like a...
Okay, not to be an ass, but what's your cheese mix? And again, I'm splitting hairs. Again, I'm guilty of this. But you really shouldn't make mac and cheese out of the pre-shredded cheese in a bag, because there's an agent in the bag, I think it's like palm flour or palm dust or whatever the fuck it is, to prevent it from sticking together. Well, the problem is that fucks with the cheese meltiness. if you're making a mac and cheese or a pizza or anything where cheese has to kind of melt, either buy sliced cheese or shred the cheese yourself.
A nacho.
Now, it won't matter that much. That cheese is going to melt no matter what. But it just kind of takes a weird texture if, again, it's splitting hairs at that point.
Cheese kind of mix here. I have used some different other cheeses.
I heard it was palm flour, whatever the fuck that is. But it could be cornstarch, too. I'm not saying it's not, but I just heard palm flour.
Did this as a cooking class recipe when I did classes at Golden Ears. And we used their jalapeno Havarti in here. God, look at that. Isn't that cheese?
Although I would eat the shit out of that.
Beer, pork, I don't know. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I could just eat it just like.
And again, look, is your homemade mac and cheese going to be dog shit because you use the pre-shredded cheese in a bag? No. It'll just be a 98 out of 100. So if you want to use it, use it.
Like that. We're going to make it even... Oh, look, that cheese is starting to melt nice now. We're going to make it even better. So I'm going to knock my heat off here.
I will agree cricket protein has to go. I've never ate crickets. I don't want to cook with crickets. I don't eat protein bars, as you can obviously tell.
My bacon dish. I'll just pour it all in there.
I mean, as a challenge, would I? Yes. But outside of that, no.
Oh.
And you better believe I would puree that shit. I would put that shit in a processor, and those crickets would be basically either a powder or a puree.
You can't see it right now. My toes are curling. This looks so good. Okay, so the last thing I want to do before I put it in the oven, which I have preheated at 350, I'm going to top it with some breadcrumbs that I have added some melted butter to. We're just going to sprinkle those.
All right, cool. I would like to see a bit of a cheese topper, but that's okay.
Just like so. Oh.
I like the fact that you added butter to the breadcrumbs.
Don't you wish you knew my address so you could come over for dinner now? Oh, look at that. Perfect. So that's going to go in our preheated oven, and we'll probably cook that we'll check it in about an hour and see where we're at. Okay, so the mac and cheese is out of the oven. Now it's lunchtime for Chefy. I've cooked it. We put it in ours. I think it worked out to about 50 minutes at 350. It's a little bit quicker because we made it all hot.
Like I said, I know they sell food grade or whatever crickets. I know you can eat worms. Hell, they actually have organic worms of all things. I know you can eat bugs. I'm just not eating the bugs. I have cows that are delicious.
If we cooled this down and then threw it in later in the day, you're probably going to add another 20, 30 minutes onto the cooking time. So now all that's left is for us to give it a try. You want to let it sit?
I'm sure cricket is not awful, and I'm sure if cricket was done correctly, it'd be fucking delicious. I'm sure a cricket taco would be the tits. But, again, I'm not doing it.
For a few minutes when it comes out of the oven, just to let it
Again, unless it was a challenge or something.
all come together. And some of those nice crispy bits. Oh, one thing to go.
Lobster isn't a cricket. Any similarities in their family ended millions of years ago. And yeah, crack that beer.
With it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Okay.
Exactly. I like this guy. You're awesome.
Here we go.
Like I said, a few little holes in your game I noticed, but I'd eat the shit out of that. And drink the shit out of your beer. All right, now we go to another person that I've never even heard of, Elite Barbecue Smokers.
I've seen the recipe of this version. They call it a crack burger. I understand why. It is absolutely addictively good. You need to check it out. So
All right, so as a guy who has made probably 1,000 burgers in his life, or different types of burgers, and probably 10 to 100,000 burgers, you just made a bold statement.
start with.
And already you're pissing me off because I fucking hate ranch seasoning dressing in my goddamn burger. But I'm gonna let you do your thing.
I'm gonna season my hamburger patties with Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning.
Oh God! Oh fuck! Ugh. Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning, the dry crab, sucks ass on burgers! I should know! I've used it several times!
Then I got some SPG, salt, pepper, garlic. Pat it in, flip it over. Do the same thing again. A little bit of Hidden Valley Ranch, a little bit of SPG. Roll them around, get the edges. And get the edges, you know. Got a little bit left over on the counter, you don't want to waste it. Now I got my Blackstone getting hot, so I'm gonna set this.
Well, if you go to my Patreon and you give me the $15 reward, I'll make this sack of shit. Or when I finally get my goddamn Lord of Patriarchy thing back and I can broadcast there, if you give me $15 or more, I'll make this crap for you.
To the side, while it's getting hot, we're gonna make our little special concoction on top of it. To start with, my mixing bowl here, I'm gonna add about 2 spoonfuls, which would be a little more than a 1/4 cup of some Duke's mayonnaise. I'm gonna take my seasoning I've got and put some in there, the Hidden Valley Ranch. So I've got some Kraft sharp cheddar cheese. I want to shred up about 1/3 of it. Using this little shredder makes life really easy. This thing's dishwasher safe, man. I tell you what, really, truly.
I want that! Where do I buy that? I hate to go into his description while I'm doing the live reaction. Cheese mix, cooking, I don't give a shit. Okay, maybe I'll have to go to his Amazon store later, because I want that damn thing!
This here's been a good blessing for making macaroni and cheese and shredding anything. Potatoes, does it all. Pretty cool. Now my mixture here, I'm gonna add this cheese to it. I'll mix it up very well.
Now what's scaring the hell out of me with this guy is he has that packet of Hormel bacon bits. Please tell me he's not going to use those. I don't know what the hell those things are, but they're not bacon.
Be kind of a cheese heavy. I just want to add that mayonnaise to it, get a little bit of flavor and a binder to it. Another little bit of my Hidden Valley Ranch. This is enough for 2 hamburger patties. If you're doing a family, you might want to do more than this. Now I got some bacon, some crumbled bacon. You can.
Oh no, just fry some bacon strips in a pan and chop them. Come on, man.
Make your own on the Blackstone. We didn't have none, so we use this here that I did have. Give me about a good fist size. Now,
the only time I would ever use anything like that it'd be if I was making a cheese ball for a week later.
I'm gonna take my buns I've got right here, drop them out. I've got some butter here. I warmed up. I'm gonna grab it, and brush it on. So everything's ready. We'll put it on Blackstone. Let's get it cooking. Come on. All right, so we got the grill hot. Let's put our burgers on. Got 2 sides here. Both these burners are running. That way I can move them side.
All right, burgers are a little thick for my taste, but that's just me.
Side to side without losing temperature. All right, we got them seared on that side good, I think. Let's flip them this side. All right, got that. I'll add some of my onions here to it. Got my burgers right here. Add them right here on the cool side. This side. Right over here on this side. Saute my onions just a little bit. All right, I'm moving this side, so I'm pull them to the other side. Check them down, don't want them to burn. See, it's good, don't it? My onions are sauteed. I'm pulling them over here to the edge. There's cooler out. I'm gonna stop cooking a minute. I'm gonna flip these burgers around now.
Great, they're hockey pucks.
Back like cooking a little bit hotter. All right, I'm gonna pour these over here a little closer to the heat. Normally what I like to do when I see the blood getting pushed out pretty good, flip them over. Push the juices back up to the other side of the meat. Starting to brown on me out there. Starting to kind of brown up some there. Flip them over.
Dude, those burger buns look way underdone. Just not for nothing.
See it starting to push back this way now? My patties right here on this side. I'm gonna turn this burner here off. I'm gonna turn all of them off. Pull it back over here. I'm gonna add a little bit of my onions to the mixture. Sauteed onions to it. Spoonful of my cheese to this one. Spoonful of cheese to this one. All I want basically is let it melt. I know it's a lot of cheese, but
You should have added some water, my guy. It just would have helped with the melting process.
when I squish it down and run outside, it'll be good. It's just starting to melt good. That's what we're looking for right there. So now I'm gonna take this, pour this back over here a second so my camera's in view. Right there on top of it. Right on top of that. Over.
No pickles?
Now I'm gonna take these, go inside, eat them up. Man, that looks good.
Although they look fucking delicious, I'll say that.
Meat inside. All right, you see how we grilled it up? See how we seasoned it up? Now it's time to taste it. Let's see what it tastes like. So look at that though. Golly, boy, that thing looks good, don't it? Look at that. I'm telling you right now, this is absolutely delicious. A simple recipe. I heard somebody call it a crack burger. I can see why. It's addictive. It's that good.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to make this myself, and we'll see. Again, the guy also had a Rectech apron on, and you know, people should know my history of Rectech grills. All right, here is creamy tomato and cheese hamburger pasta.
To Best Recipes with Sharon. Today I'm going to show you a recipe that's really great for the summertime because you don't have to turn the oven on. That's what this recipe allows for. It's the tomato and cheese hamburger pasta. It's not only quick and easy to make, but it has an array of different pasta flavors. So I just wanted to remind you, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you for watching the video all the way through.
Alright, screw it. I gotta go pee again. Like I said, you don't rent beer. Alright.
This really helps the channel. And so without further ado, let's get right to making this recipe. So let's start by placing 1 pound of ground beef in a medium-sized frying pan.
That would be a pound of beef that is frozen solid. And not allowed to defrost.
Fry that up until it's cooked through and just slightly browned. Okay, and next then we will place a medium-sized pot on the stove, turn it on high, put a little bit of water in it of course, and we'll cook up some pasta. So do that according to the package directions, add a little salt to the water, and so you'll probably need about 4 cups of water and about 2 cups of uncooked pasta shells.
No, you need way more than that. That pan is way too small.
And give that a little stir once in a while it's cooking, but cook it until it's just tender and drain the water off and set it aside. Now this wouldn't be the same without some onions or garlic in it, so...
Oh, God. I'm trying to be nice to her.
We'll go ahead and we'll chop up about a half a cup of sweet onion, and then about 2 or 3 cloves of fresh garlic. Place about 2 tablespoons of real butter into a frying pan, and go ahead and add those chopped onions and chopped garlic to the frying pan and saute them in that butter. And I know it's a lot of butter, but it adds a lot of flavor. And this is smelling pretty good.
Especially since you overcooked the fucking pasta to fuck.
It's quite fragrant right about now. So let's start to build our pasta dish. Now I'm going to do this in my Dutch oven. So we'll start with adding the hamburger. Now then add the sauteed onions and garlic in the melted butter. And stir that in. Okay, so next we're going to do half a teaspoon of black pepper and about a half a teaspoon of salt. Now go ahead and add the cooked pasta shells and mix that in. Add 3/4 of a cup of beef broth. And how about 1 cup of sour cream? This will add to the flavor and also help to hold the pasta together.
Oh, she's Canadian.
Okay, so let's just change the flavor up a little bit and add about 2.5 to 3 cups of diced tomatoes.
I don't like chunky tomatoes in my pasta.
Okay, so let's put a little herbs and spices in here. So 1 tablespoon of Italian herbs.
Okay, she's using them from the McCormick jar. Again, nothing wrong with it, but if you really want to get your spices a lot cheaper, go to your produce section. Find the little wall with spices on it. Get your own spice jars. You can buy a sticker pad on Amazon that has stickers for every spice on the fucking planet, and even if there's something unique, they got blank ones. Then, go to Amazon. You can buy 4-ounce spice jars. Boom.
This is a quick and easy way to add a lot of flavor to this dish. And then add about 1/4 of a cup of tomato paste. Okay, so this is adding a little bit of color, and it really helps to bring out that tomato flavor that we're looking for. Okay, so about 1/2 teaspoon of paprika is good. Add that to the mixture and stir it in. Now, in order to thicken this up, I add about 2 tablespoons of flour. Now, we could have added this to the sauteed onions and garlic, and it would have made a bit of a slurry and worked as a thickening agent at the same time, but I didn't do that today, so we can add it now if you forget. Who doesn't love cheddar cheese in it? Of course. We're going to add at least 1 cup of that, and if you have more and want to add a little bit more, up to as much as 2 cups isn't too much, I don't think. But I added 1 cup of cheddar and 1 cup of mozzarella today. It's always good to shred it before you add it.
Oh, really, Iron Gullet? So you always pick fresh cinnamon, right? Like, you know how to deal with fresh cinnamon, right? You have grow lights for fresh herbs? You know how paprika is made? Yeah, that's right. Shut the fuck up.
Because it does help it to melt better. I stirred in the cheddar, and with the mozzarella...
Well, you know how to take fresh cinnamon to a cinnamon stick form, right? You know how to do that, right? Oh, that's right, you don't. Shut the fuck up.
I just let it melt over top, and I sprinkled the top with a little bit of parsley. And it is nice to let this sit for a little bit and let the flavors soak in, but you do want to serve it while it's nice and piping hot. Okay, so I've let it sit for a little bit. I'm going to serve it up here, and it looks like it's thickened up nicely too, and nice and stringy with some cheese in it. And I'm just going to decorate the edges with a few fresh sprigs.
Then again, on that note, you people think that red, yellow, and orange bell peppers and green bell peppers are all different things.
From the garden. And you know, I bet it would...
Yeah, I'd eat this. Not my favorite way to do it, but I'd eat it.
Be good chopping up a little bit of pesto in it as well.
Alrighty. And that's where this one is going to come to an end. I'll see everyone later.